Good morning, everyone. We're so glad you could join us today. Today, we're going to be talking about some nonprofit uses for Microsoft Dynamics 365 customer service. We do still have some people jumping on, so while we are giving them just a minute, we're going to go ahead and launch a really quick poll for you here. Are you currently using any other aspect of Microsoft Dynamics? Go ahead and let us know if you are or are not, or you may not know exactly what all you're using. We'll just give people a minute or so to respond to that while we wait for some more people to join us. And I think we're going to go ahead and get started. So again, this is all about some nonprofit uses for Microsoft Dynamics 365 customer service. Thank you for joining us. I'm Katie Erickson. I'm the marketing director here at Boyer & Associates. And we have with us Tom Hart, one of our pre-sales engineers, who is going to be presenting for you. He's got some great uses that you can use for your organization. We also have with us Jeremy Breen. He is one of our Power Platform solution architects and is on hand to help answer any questions that you might have as well. Just a couple really quick housekeeping tips for you all. We do have several people registered, so we have you on mute, but if you have any questions throughout the session, please go ahead and put those in the question pane on your GoToWebinar control panel, and we'll get to them at the end of the presentation. We've saved some time for that at the end. Also, probably our top question is always, are we going to get a copy of this recording? And the answer is yes. In fact, you should get it as soon as tomorrow before noon, and it'll come directly from GoToWebinar. If for some reason you don't get it, you can check your spam or just reach out to us and we'll make sure you get a copy. So a little bit about Boyer & Associates. We are a winner of the Microsoft US Partner of the Year. We won in the category of social impact last year. We are very excited about that. That was a pretty big win for us. We are also celebrating 30 years this year, actually, as of Thursday. Thursday is our 30th anniversary in business. We're headquartered in Minnesota, but we do have consultants across the US. We've got some down in Florida, over in California, Colorado, over up in New York area. We're kind of all over the place here. So wherever you are, we can help you. We also have more than 440 active clients. And actually, I think that's upped quite a bit in the last month even. So we are growing quickly, but we are making sure that we manage that growth in a healthy way and are really excited to be able to help you. Also, as you might have guessed, based on the nonprofit focus in this webinar, we are highly geared toward nonprofits. In fact, about 1 in 5 of our clients is a nonprofit, and that is slowly creeping toward 1 in 4. So we are very experienced in the nonprofit arena and very dedicated to helping you find ways that you can use Microsoft Dynamics solutions to better your organization. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it on over to Tom.
Awesome. Thank you, Katie. And good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're joining from. Our agenda for today, like Katie mentioned, is we're going to be going through what is Microsoft Dynamics 365 customer service. I may refer to it as D365, so just adding in kind of the acronym definition there for you all. Why you should choose D365 customer service, and specifically for nonprofits. And then we're going to get into a more hands-on demo showing a day in the life of a customer service representative and highlighting as we go some of the key integrations between Dynamics 365 and other parts of the Microsoft ecosystem. I've been looking forward to today's webinar because it is at the intersection of customer service and nonprofits and Microsoft technology. 3 things that I have various levels of interest and experience with. And just kind of briefly before I jump into the rest of our presentation here today, I have had a number of positive and negative customer service experiences in the past year. And so that motivates some of my interest in helping organizations like yourselves improve customer service experiences so we can all have a better time when we're calling in, trying to troubleshoot some internet issue, or in the nonprofit sector, make sure that we are our donation is being routed correctly and we're getting kind of the best customer service experience possible. So hopefully today can help inspire and inform you all about what is possible from a customer service standpoint within Dynamics 365. I see the result from the poll is that many of you are not currently using Dynamics 365. So I will do my best today to highlight all of the key things to be aware of and not use too much jargon, but please drop questions in the chat if there's anything that I'm kind of glossing over, and we'll do our best to answer as many of those questions as we can. So what is Dynamics 365 customer service? In brief, it is an all-in-one customer service solution. It is AI powered. So by integrating case management, knowledge management, and account management on that all-in-one side of things, and bringing in the AI powered functionality, as we'll see in today's demo, we really do have this industry leading solution with Dynamics 365 customer service. It is industry leading, not just from our own, Microsoft's evidence and anecdotal evidence from customers that we work with, but also from industry analysts like Gartner and Forrester. If you're interested in learning more, on the Dynamics 365 kind of marketing page on Microsoft's website, there's helpful information there. And especially as you're communicating this internally, potentially to other leadership or board members, some of those industry analysis pieces can be really helpful in that regard. But from a more practical, kind of immediate perspective, you can think about Dynamics 365 customer service as a solution for your organization to manage cases. A case can be anything from someone calling in with a question, and a question that can't just be answered kind of right in that moment. So you could create a case record to help collaborate with your team and resolve that question. Cases could also be more complex. If your nonprofit has products or services that you're offering, you likely have some amount of customer service team or functionality to support those products and services. And in the nonprofit world, cases often refer to supporting some aspect of like social services or other services that your nonprofit is providing. So case management can help to improve how those services are delivered and ensure consistency of communication around those cases, as well as the contacts and the accounts that are involved in those cases. And we'll see all of this today to help kind of paint more of a picture of what I'm sharing right now. And we'll also get a look at the knowledge management functionality and how your nonprofit has some specialized knowledge that informs how you deliver your services. And so being able to kind of codify or put that knowledge down into a shareable knowledge base can be a really helpful way to improve that overall experience that your stakeholders are having with your organization. So at a high level, that is what Dynamics 365 customer service is. Now, let's talk about why you would choose it. In general, there are compounding benefits from working with Dynamics 365 customer service. As you can see in my little image on the left here, D365 is built on top of Power Apps. And without going too far into technical architecture decisions that Microsoft has made, this is helpful for us to be aware of in today's conversation, because Power Apps is a low, no-code platform that is part of the Power Platform. And by building Dynamics 365 on top of Power Apps, Microsoft has helped more organizations kind of use this low, no-code tooling so that your investment that you make with Dynamics 365 also has this compounding benefit in other parts of the Power Platform. One tangible example of that, as we'll see today, many of the user interface elements or the screens that you would interact with in Dynamics 365 share components, or they're very similar to what you could build, like a purpose-specific Power App, such as if you need a on-site check-in app that's very particular to your organization, you could have a Power App for that, which could share data with your Dynamics 365 data. So without going too far for right now, just highlighting this compounding benefits idea, which we can definitely speak about in more detail to your specific organization. But it's helpful to keep in mind that the Power Apps is just one part of the Power Platform. And so other solutions like Power BI for reporting and analytics, which you may be familiar with, these solutions work very well together. So it's very easy to take your data from Dynamics 365 and Power Apps and report on that through Power BI, or to trigger some automations with Power Automate, or to securely display that data through Power Pages into a member portal. So there are a lot of different options that we have for these compounding benefits and why you would choose Dynamics 365. More specific to the customer service world are these key metrics of faster time to resolution and increasing first call resolution. We'll see some more information on this in today's demo, but as I'm sure you all are familiar with in the customer service world, these are two of the most important metrics that many teams are tracking to measure how quickly are we resolving the queries and the cases that are coming in from our stakeholders. And with first call resolution, are we able to resolve those questions or those requests essentially at the first point of contact? That has a variety of benefits, such as decreasing the request response cycles in the customer service world and improving that customer experience as well. Now, getting even more specific and thinking about nonprofit benefits in the customer service solution, knowing your donors and supporters, delivering effective programming, and accelerating mission outcomes are three key benefits that are more specific to nonprofits. What I mean with these benefits, so an example of knowing your donors and supporters is there are a wide range of touch points that your stakeholders have with your organization. And so when they're contacting you with a question or request, ensuring that that is a positive experience and that anything that's notable, such as contact information that they've shared or donation preferences, priorities that they've shared during that contact, being able to save that information in a way that is discoverable for future interactions with that stakeholder really goes a long way to making it a more personal relationship. And when you know your donors and supporters better, they are more likely to continue supporting your mission and increasing that impact that you all are working on. Delivering effective programming, we're going to see some of this today, but like the overall stakeholder relationship, programming doesn't happen in a silo. So having your customer service data and workflows in a shared environment, for example, with your fundraising data, can enable your organization to be more effective when delivering that programming. So as we'll see today, an example of responding to a grant disbursement question, where you may have a case created because one of your stakeholders is wondering about your grant disbursement process. And by efficiently responding to that question, you can more effectively deliver on that programming of your grant-related efforts. And lastly, accelerating mission outcomes. We're going to see several examples today of how customer service solution within Dynamics 365 can help your organization to make more data-informed decisions through tailored analytics, and those data-informed decisions come together to accelerate mission outcomes. So tying these nonprofit-specific benefits into the broader Cloud for Nonprofit vision, and this is my last slide before we jump into our demo environment. This is helpful context to be aware of because Dynamics 365 customer service is just one part of this broader Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofit vision. You'll recognize on the circle here that we have those three benefits or objectives. And in this diagram, these are representing the three main objectives that underpin the Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofit vision: knowing your donors and supporters, delivering effective programming, and accelerating mission outcomes. when we bring together these objectives of the Cloud for Nonprofit vision within the Dynamics 365 customer service environment, there really is that kind of flywheel effect, as this visual suggests, and hopefully, as you'll see kind of more today. We have a whole separate webinar on the Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofit offering. So Katie and I can kind of follow up with that if you're interested, and you can request that in chat, or I believe it's on our YouTube channel as well. With that, let's go ahead and jump into our demo environment. So in today's demo, we're going to be focusing on embedded analytics and then the AI Copilot functionality and how that shows up in a couple different spots within customer service. And then those three main areas that I mentioned at the start: case management, knowledge management, and account management. So now that we have our kind of shared vision of where we're going today and what we're talking about, let's jump in. So this first screen here, you can see I'm just accessing the Customer Service Hub within a browser. And what we're looking at here is actually a Power BI dashboard or Power BI report embedded into the customer service solution. This is a quick example of what I was highlighting at the beginning of the Power Platform having these compounding benefits and working well together. This is an example as well of embedding data that could be gathered from multiple sources. You can report on that data using Power BI and then embed these analytics right into the flow of work inside of the customer service solution. This is a fully interactive report. So if I want to learn more about the high priority calls, I can click on this part of the diagram and I see all of my other visuals here react. So call status by weekday, we're seeing just now the high priority ones. Call volume by weekday, we're seeing this subset of the high priority ones. If I select it again, we kind of go back to the default visuals. One other highlight of embedding analytics into customer service is that we can also take advantage of some of the natural language processing, which is a kind of form of AI that is a feature of Power BI, and we can access that here in this report. So I can ask a question about my data. So let's say I want to know first call resolution by weekday. And you can see Power BI is trying to help me kind of predict as we go here. And then when I click on the prediction, it's giving me an on-the-fly chart of this natural language request. This is a good example of how Microsoft is working across multiple products right now to make it more intuitive for you and your organization to interact with the data that you have. So just by using some kind of English words here, I was able to ask a question and get a visual result from my data. This really goes a long way to improving those data-informed decisions for your team. Now, there's a lot more, and we could have an entire kind of presentation here just on Power BI within customer service. But let's go ahead and jump into some more out-of-the-box functionality for the customer service solution. So you can see now I am looking at a customer service workspace. For the purpose of today's demo, you can treat those as fairly similar in your mind, but this workspace is more tailored for speed and for a customer service representative that needs to context switch quickly between a lot of different cases or accounts. So you can see this is an example of an out-of-the-box dashboard included with customer service. This one is the manager-specific dashboard, and we have several visuals here related to active cases, all the items in the queues, and more active cases and entitlements here as well. Again, we have interactive visuals. So if I want to drill down by a specific, let's say, case attribute, and then visualize that, I can now see Renee's active cases in a more detailed format. And if I want to actually see this in a interactive list form, then I can select that directly from the visual as well and easily navigate back to my dashboard view there. Now, we've seen two examples so far in our embedded analytics demo of more of a manager or leadership perspective. Now let's go ahead and get more into that day in the life view of a customer service representative. So from this little drop down here, I can switch to another out of the box dashboard, which is the customer service agent or representative dashboard. We see that this one is much more tailored for the individual workflow of an individual contributor. So we have active cases, we have open activities, and this helps create, clarity in all of the noise that can happen in a customer service environment, so that this agent knows what to be focusing on, what open activities are their priority right now. So while this looks a little different than the other analytics views that we've been seeing, this type of dashboard functionality is very important for enabling that smooth flow of work. So the kind of overall benefits that we're seeing here, again, just to reiterate, for embedded analytics is enabling more data-informed decision-making. Now let's go ahead and continue in this theme of analytics, but switch towards the AI Copilot side of the house and see how Copilot can help us communicate more effectively within customer service. So from my customer service agent dashboard, I'm going to select the link at the top of my active cases list here. Now we've jumped straight from my dashboard view into this more detailed view of this particular case, which is called disbursement question. Now we're going to see Copilot show up in a couple different areas here. If you're familiar with the branding, you're probably seeing Copilot summary as a control at the top of my screen. And if I select the dropdown, that triggers Copilot to summarize this record. So we have a quick paragraph here highlighting Hayden Cook is the customer on this case. They're experiencing difficulties with receiving statements in their account. They've raised questions regarding the process. And we have additional information in just 2 to 3 quick sentences here. This information is being summarized from these fields on the left side, as well as from activities in our timeline control here. So rather than my needing to kind of go through row by row, piece together this synthesis or this summary myself, I have Copilot here to help take some of that manual effort off of my shoulders. And now I can just quickly copy this summary information and share it with another team member. So say, for example, I have a manager that's asking for what's going on with this case right now. I can quickly copy this information, pop open Teams in my right sidebar here, and share this information. Let's say Lee is the name of who I want to talk to. So just pop open Lee, select them, and then paste in, here is the summary for that case you requested. So now when I hit send, Lee is going to receive this just like any other Teams chat. If he's on his phone, he's going to see it there. If he's using the desktop application or in the web, he's going to see it there. And he and I can quickly chat back and forth. This is one of my kind of favorite use cases where we're seeing Copilot quickly help us summarize information and enable internal communication. So Lee and I are collaborating more effectively on this case. Now, I know from working with Lee that he wants me to handle as many of these questions kind of by myself as I can. So I'm not always pulling in management or additional resources when I'm trying to resolve a case here. So I'm going to go ahead and close my Teams chat now that I've shared a quick update with Lee. And I'm going to see what can I resolve on this case by myself. In order to do that, I'm kind of reviewing again the summary. So they've got this question regarding the process of receiving and managing disbursements. This reminds me of some knowledge articles that I know our team has written to help me answer this type of question. So again, I'm going to my right sidebar here, which is like a very accessible toolbox, different features that I can use in my flow of work as a customer service representative. And I'm going to go ahead and pull open the Smart Assist one. So now I have knowledge article suggestions that are, again, using some level of natural language processing, AI, to recommend articles related to keywords on this case. So fortunately, there's a pretty much direct match here between this disbursement question and our disbursement FAQ. If I select, so it looks like our FAQ here is still in process, so I will instead select this Understanding Nonprofits Disbursement Knowledge article. We can also get a confidence rating from our Smart Assistant on how confident it is that this will address the question that I'm trying to answer. This looks helpful. It's giving me some information about the complexity of the disbursement process. So I'm going back to my case record here. And instead of just taking that article, I'm actually going to ask Copilot to please summarize. So here we go, I'll say, please write a brief email explaining our disbursement process for a prospective grantee. So I had some of that information, as you saw, available in that knowledge article. And by combining this knowledge-based chat with a suggested response, I am getting some help from Copilot to reduce the amount of effort it's going to take me to respond to this question. So I have what looks like pretty good email. Dear prospective grantee, hope this email finds you well, providing you with an overview of our disbursement process for grants. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this out. I can start the new email just on the fly here as well. And as always, when working with Copilots and AI these days, I'm going to paste it in and then do my own kind of proofreading, update these little kind of variables that Copilot included, and maybe do a little bit more formatting and make sure that this language is appropriate and accurate to this particular case. So as you can see here, Copilot is helping us to chat with our knowledge base. So we can access our knowledge from a couple different angles, and then suggesting a reply, making it easier for me to respond to this case. So bringing all of those kind of different Copilot features together within customer service, the net benefit is that I am communicating more effectively internally, summarizing information and passing it off to Lee, as well as externally, where I am getting a suggested reply from Copilot based on our customer service knowledge base. Now let's switch gears and look at some of the kind of classic important core functionality for customer service, starting with case management. So closing out my email for now, come back and finish that one later. I have, let's say, a new call coming in, and I need to create a new case to track this request. So I'm just going up to my top bar here, hitting the plus icon, and I now have a quick create form for a case record. I'm speaking to Spencer Lowe on the phone. I see that he's an existing customer, so I can quickly look him up in this customer lookup field. And now I can enter in his question. He's asking about our 5013 status verification, because Spencer is a stakeholder that needs to verify this for some of his work with our organization. So I'm quickly entering his case title, Now we have this tree lookup subject field, and this is helpful to standardize when I'm quickly creating a case that I'm not just putting in kind of any free-form subject. You saw that I could put in any text that I wanted as the case title, so that's helpful flexibility there. And now for the subject, this is more helpful to have some amount of standardization as a team so that we are routing these subjects appropriately. So this is a query. He's looking for information, and our 501(c)(3) status would fall under our legal team. So I'm going to go ahead and select that as our subject. What you've seen here, this kind of quick tree structure for the subject, is all easily configurable in a no-code format by your team. So if your subjects are changing over time, you can quickly adapt those, maybe at a manager or admin level, and then your agents can correctly select the subject that is relevant to the case that they're working on. We can also differentiate between subject and case type. So you can see there's some overlap in our categorization currently. So I'm going to track this as a request. And then we're flagging this as in progress, fairly high importance due to Spencer's status. And there isn't a parent case that I want to associate this with, but if there was, I could add that here. And I've been taking some notes from my call with Spencer, and I'm going to add those in here. So now that I've quickly created a case on the fly, I can save that, and it will bring me to that record when I select the little verification link there. So going from quickly creating a case, it's important to also be aware that you can create cases in a variety of automated ways as well. You can have, say, a Microsoft form or a variety of different types of forms. And then when your stakeholders fill out that form, that can be configured to automatically create a case. You can also configure email to case creation workflows. So if there's a specific customer service inbox that you have, then you can scrape the data from those emails as they come in and automatically create cases, as well as various other endpoints. So highlighting here the possibility of creating cases manually, as you just saw, as well as in more automated fashion. Now, once we have the case created, we're going to work through it in a couple different ways. We can assign a process to this case. So if we want to kind of use a standard business process, we can attach that and work the case that way. If we want to do more of an ad hoc update, say there were some additional notes from my conversation with Spencer, and I wanted to actually tag that as a post in here. This is another method where Lee is really getting a lot of messages from me today. So I'm going to tag him in this post. New request from Spencer. Please help get this on legal team's radar. So I add that post. Lee receives a notification on his end, and it's added here as an activity record in the timeline. As you saw, there's a number of other types of activities we could add, including task, maybe a reminder, kind of follow up on request, do all the things, and set a due date for later on this week. So this is a quick way that I am kind of communicating internally about this case and creating a task to remind myself to follow up on this in the future. We can also add this case to a queue. So if our team has queues that we're using to route cases, we can select that button from the command bar here, and then I can search for the queue. And I know that Scott handles our 501(c)(3) items, so adding that to his queue. Now, as you can imagine, especially if you already work with queues, there are a variety of benefits for using them. It helps ensure that only one person from a team is working on a single case at a time, so you don't have people kind of stepping on each other's toes. You can use it to assign certain cases based off of particular skill sets. So as we saw here, a 501c3 status question might be best routed to Scott and our legal team. We can also use it for escalation. So maybe as a customer service representative, I handle a typical kind of like tier 1 type request. But if I need to escalate this to Lee or Scott or someone else on my team, then I could use a queue to escalate that and make sure that we are effectively collaborating as a team. It also, queues can allow for working on cases when someone is out of office. So making sure that we're providing coverage and that seamless customer service experience. Now, let's say I hear back from Lee and Scott and this is resolved. I can go up to the command bar again, just select resolve case. And it's giving me a nice warning here that I have an open activity. If I confirm that it's resolved, it's going to close that activity. So we have our resolution type. I'm going to call this information provided, since it was just a status verification, and say status verified. Now this information is saved also on the timeline of this case here, and this record has been changed to read only because it is now resolved. This is helpful kind of data trail if I need to refer back to this a month from now and I've been context switching so much that I forgot Spencer's specific request. Fortunately, I have a nice data trail here, and I could even click on Copilot and it would help me summarize and remember the full context of this case. So that was a quick overview of case management and how these different features come together to help us deliver effective programming as a team. Now let's continue talking about knowledge management, as I alluded to some of it before when reviewing Copilot functionality. So switching again back to this customer service hub view, just so we can look at the knowledge articles. So in this view, we are seeing a list of all of our knowledge articles that we have as a team. And I can select, let's say I want to select a couple of these ones and make a bulk update to them. I can do some of that here. If I need to assign these knowledge articles to a member of my team to review and update, I can make that selection here. So again, let's say Lee is getting a lot of messages from me. So assigning these to Lee. And this can help with our kind of delegation of making sure that the right person is making the updates to the knowledge articles. We can also export data in here to Excel. So maybe I'm collaborating with a third-party contractor and they don't have access to our customer service environment. So if I export to Excel, I'm going to get some of the key information about these knowledge articles and be able to share that more easily externally. We can also go through and make bulk kind of publish actions here. So a variety of different commands that we can use to interact with our list of articles. As you'll see throughout many parts of Dynamics 365, we also have a kind of view drop down here. So I'm currently looking at my active articles, but we could switch views to see we have one proposed test article, just viewing a quick list of our published articles. Again, a nice way to make the data within your system more easy to work with these kind of preset filtered views. Now, maybe one of these preset views is not sufficient, and I actually need to go and edit the columns of what I'm seeing here. So I select this little edit columns button from the top, and I can add in this internal and keywords fields, and I can drag them around. So I'm looking quickly at that internal checkbox and those keywords. I hit apply, and you see my list is updated. So I've got that information easily within my view. We can also edit filters. So if I wanted to go from published articles down to books and travel, then we could quickly do that here as well. And as we saw earlier, so this is our list view. We can go into the detail view of the knowledge article. And this is more where we would work through the author, review, and publish process. This nice kind of pizza tracker along the top to help us standardize our process for how we manage knowledge articles. We have many of the content management fields here that you would expect: title, description, keywords, and then the actual content itself. We can add in photos, videos, other links to make this a very robust knowledge base. And then if there's additional metadata, kind of summary information, we want to communicate internally, we can do that here as well. And very helpfully for managing an active knowledge base is some of the analytics information. So if we're getting feedback from our team that this is not answering the question, we can quickly see that here at the specific knowledge article. We can also see how many views it has accumulated, and then we can also see which cases are currently using this article. So using these different knowledge management features together, we can help improve quality and consistency in these customer service interactions. And moving a little quickly here to make sure that we have some time for questions, let's briefly highlight some of the related account management features. So going back to our this case record that we're working on, I can go to Spencer, who is our contact that was associated with this record. So in addition to the case records we've been looking at, we have these contact records, which look very similar. You'll recognize the timeline control, the ability to associate these cases with Spencer. And then we can also associate, if Spencer is attached to an organization, we have the account field here. So I can go to Spencer's account and see some of the important information. Similar to how we've been interacting with other records, we can add activities here to his timeline. Maybe there's more in-depth OneNote that I want to create specific to this account. We could add a case related to this account right here and track more account-specific address and details such as marketing, contact preferences, billing. Again, helpful distinction between how you track account information versus contact and customer information. One other highlight with these account records is the ability to click out to other related views. So if your organization has particular maybe invitations that you need to track or sponsorships, you could add that as a tab here at the account record level, as well as associating documents to the record. So maybe there is a contract or a Word document, and you could easily upload that here and have those files easily associated at the account level. So bringing these various account management features together, we're helping to maintain beneficial relationships, both at the contact level as well as the account level. So summarizing some of the features and benefits we've been talking about today is this overall Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofit vision. And like I mentioned at the start, the benefits that your organization can receive from working with Dynamics 365 customer service specifically, and the Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofit in general. Better ability to know your donors and supporters, deliver effective programming, and accelerate mission outcomes, all revolving around the center of secure donor and program participant data. All of the kind of cybersecurity work, security roles and permissions work that Microsoft has done is essentially infrastructure. So your team doesn't have to reinvent that wheel, and you can focus more on these customer service level objectives. So with that, thank you all for tuning in today. there's always more to learn. We look forward to answering any questions that we've got here in the chat. And if you want to learn more, you can visit boyerassociates.com, our website, and contact us there. You can start a trial at the dynamics.microsoft customer service link. And if you want to dive a little deeper into AI and Copilot, there's a nice Copilot specific customer service demo that you can check out here as well. For more direct connection, you're welcome to reach out to me on LinkedIn or our info email address. And yeah, thanks again for joining, and look forward to answering any questions that you have.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tom. That was a great presentation. Love being able to see how we can use Microsoft Dynamics for our nonprofits. So far, we just have one question. That's will we be able to have access to the presentation after? So if you're talking about the recording, yes, you will get that tomorrow. If you're talking about the PowerPoint, Tom, would we be able to send the PowerPoint upon request as well?
For sure, yep.
Okay. Yep, go ahead and email me, kerickson@boyerassociates.com, and I can make sure that you get a copy of the PowerPoint, and I'll put that in the chat here. Again, if you have any questions, now's the time to answer it. There are no dumb questions. We're here to answer anything you might have.
Agreed. A couple other things that I can share while we wait for any questions to come in. So as you probably got the sense from my speed in moving through today, there's always more to share, and customer service is really a deep solution within Dynamics 365. So if you want to learn more at a high level, the marketing page is helpful, especially for some of the pieces we didn't get to today, like the self-service features, where you can have a chatbot or a copilot on your website and provide some of that self-service functionality there. And the community portals. So this is where Power Pages, another part of the Power Platform that I referenced at the beginning, would come in and help to securely share maybe some of your knowledge base articles. You could surface that in a public-facing manner using a Power Pages community portal. So always more to learn, and definitely items within customer service that we didn't get to today. So happy to discuss more here and in follow-up as well.
Awesome. And I'm not seeing any other questions, so I think we can probably go ahead and end early. One thing I did want to give you all a heads up on is when you exit out of the webinar, you'll get a very quick 2-question survey. Just what do you think of the webinar and how can we help you? So please fill that out. It helps us know if you want us to reach out to you or not. So awesome. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Tom, for the great presentation, and Jeremy for being on hand as well. Appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks, Katie. Bye, everybody.